Welcome to Legacy Boxing Showcase, sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotions. I'm Ed Nunez, along with Austin Killeen. In our second segment, we'll have Abraham Perez from Perez Boxing Promotions will be our guest. He was a victor in the Golden Gloves. We saw this about a week ago over there at the Mountain View Community Center. Yourself, Juan Nunez, a bunch of people were out there, and Abraham Nunez, what about that was, and we'll talk about that along with some other fights. But Austin, the first fight we want to talk about, and Mike Adams and I talked about this at length on Saturday on the mic with Mike Adams, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturday, 6:10 a.m. radio. We talked about this, and you saw the fight yourself.
Right.
Gennady Golovkin, Triple G, versus Vanes Matasourian on Saturday. Now, Matasourian hadn't fought in 3 years, or 2 years, 2 years. So he came in and he said this, and I'll let you, go forward with this. Matasourian said a lot of guys that fought Triple G or fight him are defeated before the fight starts because they're afraid. He wasn't going to be afraid. Good first round. Take us through the second round. What happened after that?
Well, I agree with you on the first round. In fact, you could almost make an argument he won it. He landed a lot of clean shots. But in the second round, he got tagged. I think, in fact, I was talking to Abraham's father. He thought he counted 9 clean punches. And then he went down. He tried to get up and fell back down again. And one of them was an uppercut. I thought his head was going to be in the 4th row, because Triple G is a bomber. He can really punch. And so I feel that Matasourian gave it a terrific effort, but he just was out of his league.
Austin, you're coming in, you haven't fought in 2 years, Matasourian I'm talking about, and you're going against, you mentioned, a bomber, a very dangerous fighter, and you did give it a, what we call a good effort. But the fight that everybody, it's a low, and I said this on the radio, it was a low risk for Triple G. It really was. It's an opponent that hasn't fought. You should take care of business there. Again, that Canelo Alvarez fight, they hope will happen in May. But you like Billy Joe Saunders quite a bit. Talk about him. You think he can give Triple G a good fight right now?
I had recorded his fight with David Lemieux last December. Never had watched it. So when the fight ended Saturday night, I noticed that it was recorded, so I watched it the next day. And he is I call him a white Floyd Mayweather. David Lemieux can hit like hell. He couldn't touch him. And he just won all 12 rounds. Amazingly, 2 judges, and I know you and Mike talk about this, somehow found rounds that David Lemieux won. The 3rd judge had it right. All 12 rounds he won. And he's just an amazing fighter. He has radar. And Max Kellerman had a nice expression. He said, he's not a singles hitter, he's not a home run hitter, he's a doubles hitter. So he hits you, he hurts you. In fact, David Lemieux had a bloody nose and they couldn't stop the blood. So he's not a knockout puncher per se. And then, of course, he's got some nice victories on it, because when I looked up his record, I thought maybe it was just a one-trick pony, but he's got 5 or 6 good names on his record already. So he's been sliding under the radar.
I think you're absolutely right. We got about a minute left in this segment, but I want to ask you, just in case, now Canelo and Triple G is going to happen probably in May. Mike Adams always talks about the economic impact of pay-per-views, things like that.
September, I think.
Yeah, I'm sorry, September. It is May now. So they're going to move that back probably to September. Canelo Alvarez suspended for 6 months, eats tainted beef or whatever. Talk about that fight and the potential of a second. I thought Triple G won the first one.
I did too.
So talk about that just a little bit. We got about a minute left.
Well, Canelo is pure gold. You put him on against a mannequin, he's going to sell tickets. And so the second fight with Triple G will do crazy numbers. And to me, if they were smart, they would put this Billy Joe Saunders in the undercard. Because although I think he's a quality fighter, no one really knows who he is. So he doesn't have he's not going to sell tickets right now. But if people saw him on the undercard, I think they'd quickly realize how good he is. And I'd try to match him with the winner.
One quick comment, Triple G, 36, going to be 37. His time, again, you know how it is, Austin. Sometimes you feel great until you step in the stadium, the ring. All of a sudden, I'm not saying it hasn't happened with Triple G. He looked great on Saturday.
Yeah.
He should be fine for another rematch with Canelo Alvarez. We'll have to see how that all plays out. We'll be back to Legacy Boxing Showcase after these messages.
play at the plate. Safe. What a slide by Wilson.
Harden is off the plate, and now he's going to run to home, and we've got a pickle here. And Harden going to go diving in, and he's safe.
Safe. Runner goes to second. Out at second.
Got her.
Out at second, so. Swung on first pitch. Oh, nice catch. Left. Hit the ball well. Defensively. Runner's going to second. There's the tag. Runner's out. Oh, what a catch in right field.
Nice catch.
What a catch in right field to retire Niven. Great catch out there. What about swinging? Here's the payoff. Swung on. It's a deep left field.
Whoa.
That ball is gone.
It's gone.
Two-run home run by Aaliyah Hibben. That puts Volcano Vista up 2-0. Hibben waits and takes some good pitches, works the count to a full count, and hits the payoff pitch for a two-run homer to left field. Roger, great.
Here's Andres Quintana, and this one is skyrocketed deep out to center field, and that baby is gone.
When I train for American Ninja Warrior, I schedule regular workouts to stay in shape. To keep my car in Ninja Tough shape, I head to a Napa Auto Care Center for regular maintenance and genuine Napa Auto parts. Like brakes and batteries. I trust my Napa Auto Care Center for quality parts and quality service. And with the 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty, I drive away with peace of mind every time. Visit AutoCareNM.com to find a location near you.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Welcome back to Legacy Boxing Showcase, sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotions. I'm Ed Nunez, joined by Austin Colleen, our guest in studio. Abraham Perez from Legacy Boxing Promotions, victorious last weekend in Mountain View Community Center against Terrell Mendiola of Colorado. We'll get to that fight in just a second. But my host, Austin Colleen, is a world traveler, has been to Ireland, and recently took a trip back to his New England over there, back in Boston. You always tell me about Boston, the clam chowder and everything else. I think you got a little something you wanted to show us here,
Yes,
Austin.
I brought some clam chowder, but it wasn't.
chowder?
Oh, that stuff is good, man. Up there in Boston, New England, that's the best.
I brought down for both of you guys some maple syrup right off the maple trees in New England, and
Oh, man.
you can't get this
Wow.
in a chain grocery store. What the people do
Oh,
is they
my
produce
goodness.
it and they sell it to mom. They give it to mom and pop stores to move their product.
I know Mike Adams has been asking you.
Right.
Mike Adams has been asking you for some of this.
But you have to share that.
Oh
with-
yeah, I'm gonna have to half it for him.
And
Abraham.
we're not through yet.
No, still more gifts. I'm sorry.
There's more.
I'd probably choose this over Miss Butterworth's.
Oh, it's believe me.
Yeah.
And New Mexico Boxing Hall of Fame. We just want you to send you off in good spirits. And your father tells me this is the right size.
Yeah.
Watch out, by the way, your mother's already eyeing the maple syrup. But this is not diluted. It's 100%. 40
Man.
takes 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of maple syrup.
Wow.
Damn.
It's
Definitely gonna have to try some of
Yeah.
that out. Austin,
Yeah.
I know you had some questions for Abraham. We mentioned the fight card at Mountain View Community Center about a week ago. Juan Nunez and the Golden Gloves, you were there at ringside writing for Colleen's Corner. And then you can always catch Austin's colleenscorner.com. He has breakdowns. He'll be at Buffalo Thunder this week. There's also a fight card in Clovis. Austin's, if you will need to know about boxing, go to colleenscorner.com. I know you have some questions for Abraham, Austin.
Well, I was very impressed last year when you won your title. You really had to work to win it. It was a razor thin decision.
Yeah, it was a close one.
And this year, what was it? You were more relaxed because of the experience.
Yeah, I was a lot more relaxed. That's for sure. I mean, with all the fights after last year's Golden Gloves regional tournament, advancing from nationals to where was it? Louisiana. In Lafayette, Louisiana. I had one fight over there for the nationals. I lost it, but I did get more experience off of it, where I was throwing more combinations and more head movement. So from there, I just started getting more fights. I ended up competing at a national tournament, the Western qualifiers. Had a fight there. I ended up losing it also, but with more fights gives me more experience. So I felt more experienced for this fight.
So how many would you guess you had between last year's Golden Gloves and this year's?
I'd say I'd have 6.
But
6
against
more.
high quality
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is
yeah.
a big difference. Win or lose when you leave the ring standing and obviously no one's
yeah.
knocking you out. You're,
Right. Yeah.
in this fight, that Ed and myself both witnessed, the first minute of the fight, I thought you were going to get beat. I don't know what your impression. That guy came out flying.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
yeah.
it was like a switch went on, and then you just relaxed and you just took over.
Oh yeah. I had like 3 minutes to warm up and get my hand wraps wrapped up, so I was like not even fully warmed up, but it took me like less than a minute to kind of figure out the guy, especially because he was switching from orthodox to southpaw.
He had
So I was
quick
able to get
hands.
him. Yeah, he was pretty quick, but I guess I was quicker. Guess I was quicker.
You know, you won a majority decision, Abraham, and one of the things that Albuquerque boxer Xavier Madrid, who was a friend of mine, he fought in the last fight. I used to coach him in basketball, and I understand you played some basketball back in the day as well.
Yeah.
That's what Austin was telling me. But one of the things that Xavier told me was that he had to conserve energy. You know, he went in there because his fight, the last fight, those guys were winging, man.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
they were really, that was, I thought, the fight of the afternoon. It really was. But when he mentioned to me, because that's why people that don't understand the fight game would go in there with gloves and just start winging, right? They don't
Yeah.
understand the sweet science that Austin talks about, that you know about, that you're trained by your father. I mean, your father and your uncle, gosh, man, I mean, how many years combined together do they have?
Oh, yeah.
But that's another thing I thought, did you, when you went in there and you didn't know much about him, you weren't warmed up either.
Yeah.
You know, was it kind of some hesitancy on your part? And Terrell Mendiola was a tough opponent.
Yeah, he was pretty tough, but it just same thing. He was wasting more of his shots, trying to throw them all with power. So whereas he was already throwing, I was already like just figuring him out already. He was pretty much gassing himself out for the first round and like mid-second round. So my punches, they weren't as solid, but they were more quicker. I didn't put that much force into my punches. Where there was a good target is when the only time I put pretty much force into my punches.
Threw him with bad intentions.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. Austin?
I don't know which camera am I looking at?
This one.
Okay, in the third round, if I'm mimicking you right, you crossed your hands at the gloves.
Yeah.
and he started to stare at your hands, and the last thing a fighter should be is confused. But he was, and somehow you didn't know which hand you were going to lash off with.
Yeah.
And it was amazing how many times you hit him with just clean punches.
Yeah.
I equate it to the shell game where you have 3 cups and a peanut shell is under one of them, and you're moving them.
Yeah.
And he just kept staring at your gloves, and you just unloaded on him in the third round.
Yeah, it was good. It was somewhat like this, no? It was kind of like that, but like sometimes I'll.
Well, Archie Moore used to use the turtle defense, and I
turtle
tried
defense.
it not as well as Archie Moore. But
Kenny Norton used that?
Yeah, Norton did
Kenny
it
Norton,
too.
the crossbow?
Right, but the
The right.
problem with it,
Right.
when I fought in New York, the guy grabbed my elbow, kept spinning me, and I got beat up bad. But you weren't that far up, and
Nah.
he just kept, and he was trying to figure out which glove was gonna, and you slid either hand, and and it was amazing. You were able to get it off.
Yeah.
And he should have just, instead of looking at your gloves, he should have been looking at an opening on you and throw. So he was trying to react to this.
Yeah, I got him confused.
And, well, hey, it worked. I shouldn't give away the secret because maybe you could use it again.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
What was your father telling you, Abraham, in the corner? I mean, again, your father, Aaron Perez, he knows the fight game as well as anybody in town, man.
Yeah.
And what was his advice to you? Because I think when I think about athletic contests, and when I was your age, I was a basketball player, so adrenaline sometimes, you know what I mean, can get away. It can get away from you, man. Anybody that's been, Austin's had an adrenaline rush. Josh Brown, the producer, played football for Del Norte. Adrenaline, all of a sudden you're like, man, you can't be beat, right? You can't be beat.
Yeah.
You wonder where it comes from. Of course, you die from adrenaline. You would.
Yeah.
You know, it comes, and I've had it as a basketball man. I remember those days. So, what was your father saying in the corner?
He was telling me to give some love to the body. He was telling me to go more for the body because I was aiming more towards headshots. So he was pretty much telling me to go straight to the body, kind of wear him down a little more to the body because he was already wasting his punches and they're getting slow to the point where I'd end up slipping them pretty easy, and I'd end up going to the head instead of the body. So that's where he was telling me to keep going to the body. I say I got him like a couple good times there, but after that fight, I know now that I need more work to work on the body too. I need to work on the body and I got to work on the head. So kind of even it out. So that's what he was telling me to do, but I didn't do it as much in that fight that I should have done.
So that's what you're working on and going forward.
Yeah.
And I think Austin would be the first guy to say that. And there's something to learn from every fight.
Yeah.
You know, you won, you came out of there victorious, and you felt good. But the road to any championship is paved with learning lessons.
Oh, yeah.
Every fight, and especially how old are you?
19.
Okay, especially at your age, you still have a lot to learn, Austin.
Well, I was sitting right next to your corner.
Yeah.
And in the second round, I thought he'd be giving you instructions, but he asked you if you had cleaned your room.
Did you clean your room?
But you now, when you go on to the nationals, it's all by lot. You have no idea. I assume there's 8 fighters, I believe, in your weight division.
Yeah, it was about 8.
So are you familiar with any of them? Not that you really can't concentrate on one fighter because when they take the names out of a hat, you don't know.
Yeah.
But are there any of them that you're familiar with?
I'm not familiar with much of them. There are some people that I do fight up east. I fight them over there, and they have a weird style. Their style is a little bit more confusing. But I beat most of them, so their style is not that hard for me, but it's confusing.
Now, you took 5 years off to play basketball.
Yeah.
And so how many amateur fights do you guess that you've actually had?
Right now I have about 60. I have about 60 amateurs.
Because obviously you would have been way above 100.
Yeah, I would have been a little higher if I hadn't taken 5 years off.
Now, your comeback fight after 5 years of basketball, you fought a really tough kid, and I can't think of his name. You remember who it was?
I don't.
Oh, and then he fought Steve Garcia, has a tough amateur, and he fought him his next fight. I felt bad for the kid. I was trying to give him a plug because catching you and then catching Santiago.
Yeah.
And I felt
yeah.
bad for this kid because he was really game.
It's
He probably
pretty bad.
and he probably gained out of the 2 fights
Yeah, he probably did. Yeah.
because he went the distance both times.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had the experience where you were at the wrong end of you got into the ring and
yeah.
you were eating leather?
Oh yeah, man. Plenty of times actually. Caused me to move my head a lot more. But yeah, there's been a couple fights where I wouldn't be doing as good as I would normally do, or not even good at all, you know. But that was like whenever I started barely coming back in. I'd start coming back in, and people will start. Well, the people that I have more problems with are the pressure fighters. So that's the time where I mostly eat leather. That's when I eat a lot of leather. And how can I say it? I do more good with boxers instead of
Right,
people who come in, you know. So with pressure fighters is what I work on with now too, with pressure fighters and going to the body and stuff like that. I get the experience that I get out of it is more head movement and more turning out, you know, using pivots, like sidestepping and all that. But
What you learned from both, right? We got about 30 seconds left in this segment. We'll come back for another one. But what you weigh, you mentioned it, the pressure fighters or the boxers, lessons to be learned from both.
yeah.
But you have to cut off the
yeah.
ring, things like. I mean, I was never in that ring, man. I can only imagine what you go through when you say, you know, you get hit. I remember trying to box and somebody hitting you, and it's like, nah, I don't want any of that.
Never
And, you know,
mind.
right. So
Yeah.
all the things you mentioned, styles you learn.
Oh yeah.
Different styles. The guy that's come forward, you know, you're still very young, so you're absorbing all this. Next fight, you'll maybe a tip of a toe or something like
Oh,
that
yeah.
tells you something. We're going to be back for one more segment on Legacy Boxing Showcase after these messages.
Carmody Medical provides solutions for your everyday needs. Hot and cold compression wraps provide therapeutic compression for the shoulder, hip, and knee. The therapy wraps are constructed of an insulated outer fabric and a ventilated cotton pocket to protect the body. Elastic belts allow mobility and deliver a gentle, adjustable compression. The reusable therapy packs can be removed from the pouch and placed into the freezer. Contact Jim for more information.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili, breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network. Hey, New Mexico, come check out the newly remodeled guest rooms at the new Wyndham Albuquerque Hotel and Conference Center, featuring 309 rooms, 30,000 square feet of meeting space. New Mexico's only indoor water park featuring the Wave Runner. 2,200 square foot fitness center with hydro massage chairs. Also enjoy breakfast at our new Manzanita Grill and watch your favorite team play at Altitude Sports Bar and Grill. It's all at Wyndham Albuquerque Hotel and Conference Center.
Welcome back to Legacy Boxing Showcase, sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotions. I'm Ed Nunez, along with Austin Killeen, our in-studio guest, Abraham Pettis, Golden Glove champion. Abraham, thanks so much for joining. Like I said, you're gonna be a big star, kid.
Hell yeah,
Those
man.
looks, how can you miss, man? And plus the charisma, everything
Yeah.
else you got. Anyway, we're gonna go into the Clovis card this Saturday. Austin, I know you're also covering at Buffalo Thunder, like I mentioned, Killeen'sCorner.com. If you want to know about boxing in this state or boxing period, Austin's the man to go to. Austin, go ahead.
Well, I think you're familiar with one of the fighters on the Clovis card. If you want to speak a little bit about him.
Aaron Perez, yes sir. That's my older brother. We grew up together, pretty close, really close, man. Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah. When we were younger, we'd always fight. You know, I mean, now fighting's our specialty. You know.
I assume you're a better basketball player.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
so we straighten that out. Right
Yeah.
on. Do you guys spar a lot?
Yeah, we spar sometimes here and there. He's a heavier dude, so that guy hits like a ton of bricks for me. I'm only 114. He's 127, and no, he does really good. We work with each other. We give each other tips, you know, on how to work with certain things. He pressures me. He boxes me. Here and there, I'll do the same thing to him, and then we both just learn off of it. We get experience with each other. Especially with him, he has a big amateur record.
Oh,
a lot of amateur
150.
experience. Yeah.
Abraham, what do you know about his opponent? We got about 3 minutes left in this segment. What do you know about Vasquez, who your brother is fighting on? Do you know anything about him?
Haciel? No, I don't know nothing about him. Nothing yet, anyway.
Okay, I'm sure you'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
Austin got about 2.5 minutes. Go ahead, take it away.
Well, on the Clovis fight card, Alicio Sena is a terrific fighter, and he weighs about 270. He has a left jab like Sonny Liston used to have, literally a battery.
Holmes? Larry Holmes had that piston-like jab.
But Liston's jab was a knockout punch. Holmes was repetitive score, and it's rare to have a left jab like that. And him and Ronnie Baca are in a collision course, and if they fight, it's going to be huge. I just hope Cena gets some fights under his belt, because Ronnie Baca has been busy as can be.
Austin, I know you wanted to mention the Buffalo Thunder fight card. I know we got about a minute and a half left.
Okay, let's get a interesting main event there. Antonio Martinez is really tough. He can bang. He's been doing a lot of sparring with Fidel Maldonado Jr. But this Gabriel Rodriguez, he can't punch, but he has beautiful head movement. And he's 4-1. I've seen him fight several times. He came up to me and said, "Hey, I don't like your coverage of my fight. I'm stunned." And we got talking, and at the end we got along, shaking hands. And he was honest. He says, I thought I did better than you indicated.
At least somebody's reading, though, and reading what you
Well, that's what I
write.
love.
Got about a minute left, Austin.
Okay, the thing about Gabriel, and you may have had this problem. Guys don't want to spar with female fighters. They feel awkward.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This Gabriel Rodriguez spars with Jennifer Hahn all the time, and he just rips into her. He doesn't.
So he don't hold anything back.
Oh my God! And she says she loves it because she's, "I'll never meet a girl that's any tougher than him." And
Man,
he
yeah,
just
you're right. A
puts
lot of
her in
guys
the
would
corner.
hold back.
He's just trying to pound her. So that's going to be a good main event.
About 30 seconds left, Abraham. What's next for Abraham Pettis?
Fighting nationals over there in what's it called?
Omaha.
Omaha, Nebraska. I'm gonna be fighting there next week. It's gonna be a full week tournament, so I'm gonna be making weight at 114. And yeah, just hope everything's good. I know I'm gonna take it. I have a lot of faith that I'm gonna take it. So.
Been training and building up for that.
Yeah.
Abraham Pettis, best of luck. Thanks so much for being our in-studio guest.
Yes, sir.
You're going to be a big star, kid.
Thank you.
Be a big star.
Yeah.
You bet.
Awesome.
You bet.
Thank you, Austin.
For Austin Killeen, Abraham Pettis, producer Josh Brown, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you next time on Legacy Boxing Showcase.